He was born an outcast, the boy they called Shaka, son of a chief, driven from his home with a mother they called unclean. His childhood was filled with taunts and humiliation, but with every fight, he forged an iron will and a burning desire for revenge. He found refuge in the army of Chief Dingiswayo. Here, his natural talent for warfare blossomed, and he quickly rose through the ranks. He revolutionized Zulu warfare, inventing the iklwa, a short, deadly stabbing spear that required courage to use at close range. He created the bull-horn formation, a devastating tactical system that would make the Zulu army invincible for decades. When his father died in 1816, Dingiswayo gave Shaka a small force to claim his birthright as chief of the Zulu clan. He returned home and immediately assassinated his half-brother, the rightful heir. The throne was his, but the Zulus were just one small clan among many. From day one, he ruled with absolute terror. A cough during inspection, a dropped shield, any imperfection was punished by instant death. He drove his men relentlessly, making them discard their sandals and march over thorns to harden their feet for battle. His first major victory against the Buthelezi was so total that survivors spread word of the new, unstoppable Zulu war machine. Unlike other chiefs who slaughtered the defeated, Shaka absorbed their young men into his army, growing his power exponentially. One by one, he conquered neighboring tribes. The Ndwandwe, his most powerful rivals, fell after years of brutal warfare. In just 10 years, he transformed a tiny 150-square-mile clan into a 250,000-strong empire covering 11,500 square miles. He was no longer just a chief. He was the king, the lion of the Zulu, the most powerful man in southern Africa. But his success fed his paranoia. After one battle, he executed an entire regiment for what he perceived as hesitation. In 1827, the only person he ever loved, his mother Nandi, died. This loss would push him from calculated tyrant to mad god. His grief unleashed a tsunami of violence. He ordered a year of mourning with terrifying decrees. No crops could be planted, no milk could be drunk. Any woman found pregnant was executed with her husband. In his madness, he ordered the execution of thousands. Some say 7,000, for insufficient grief over his mother's death. British traders at Port Natal witnessed the terror, describing a land where life had lost all value except through Shaka's whim. He sent his army on pointless, exhausting campaigns, accusing distant tribes of sorcery that caused his mother's death. The kingdom was bleeding. His own half-brothers Dingaan and Mlangana saw his madness threatening everything they had built. Even his powerful aunt Mkabayi, who had supported his rise, now turned against him, fearing he would destroy the Zulu nation. When his northern expedition failed, Shaka's rage became uncontrollable. He threatened to execute the entire army upon their return. This was the final straw. The conspirators knew they had to act before he slaughtered the very army that protected the kingdom. On September 24, 1828, Dingaan and Mlangana approached Shaka in his royal compound. They came as brothers, but carried spears. As Shaka turned to face them, they struck. "Are you stabbing me, brothers?" he cried as their spears pierced his body. His last words became Zulu legend. "You will not rule this land. The white people will come and conquer you." With Shaka dead, Dingaan immediately seized power, executing Mlangana to secure his position as sole ruler. Across the kingdom, people felt both terror and relief. The tyrant was gone, but the future was uncertain. British traders recorded his legacy, creating the myth of Shaka as both a brilliant innovator and a bloodthirsty monster. His wars had triggered the Mfecane, a catastrophic period of migration and warfare that reshaped the demographics of southern Africa. Historians still debate the numbers. Traditional accounts claim millions died, but modern research suggests the toll was lower, though still horrific. His military reforms spread across the continent, changing African warfare forever and creating powerful centralized states. Dingaan soon discovered that ruling Shaka's empire was harder than seizing it. The cracks were already showing. And just as Shaka predicted, the white settlers began to arrive. Within a decade, they would be at the Zulu kingdom's gates. 50 years after his death, Shaka's military system achieved its greatest victory, annihilating a British army at Isandlwana. Today, Shaka is a complex national symbol in South Africa, both a unifier who created a nation and a tyrant who bathed it in blood. For the Zulu people, he remains the father of their nation, a figure of immense pride and cultural identity. Scholars still argue, was he a genocidal monster or a product of his turbulent times who responded with necessary brutality. His dramatic life has inspired countless films and books, cementing his place as one of history's most fascinating figures. His tactical innovations are still studied in military academies worldwide as a masterpiece of pre-industrial warfare. At Stanger, South Africa, a simple monument marks where he fell, a quiet end for such a violent life. His conquest spread Zulu language and culture across southern Africa, creating a lasting linguistic and cultural legacy. Psychologists see in him the perfect storm of childhood trauma, genius, and absolute power, creating a destructive personality. He stands beside figures like Napoleon, visionaries who built empires but left mountains of dead in their wake. Who do you think was history's most brutal unifier? Subscribe for more stories of history's most powerful and terrifying figures. Discover more tales of power in our History's Monsters playlist. Until next time.